you ever wonder how your clothing is being produced? Do you ever ask, how is it possible that clothing stores are able to sell garments a lot cheaper than others? And do you ever wonder what happens to the clothing that doesn't get sold at these stores? Many people do not take the time to second guess the fashion that they're consuming and how it potentially contributes to pollution and unethical work practices when they purchase from fast fashion brands. I'm Maritza Gutierrez, and I'm here to inform y'all of the harmful effects of fast fashion and how to take the steps to avoid purchasing. Let's start with what fast fashion is. Fast fashion aims to replicate the popular trends of the time and what's on runway fashion. They do this by mass producing clothing at a rapid rate. And it's pretty dangerous, especially that now the fashion trends are lasting a lot less than a month. So as quickly as they come into the store, they leave. And when they leave the store, they end up in landfills like this one. This used to be a desert in Chile, and now it's just a pile of clothing awaiting the fate of being incinerated and becoming CO2 emissions. According to Arabella Ruiz, who wrote an article for the Roundup, fast fashion is responsible for 2.1 billion tons of CO2 emissions, which is a lot more than all international flights and maritime shipping combined. And Rashmila Maiti from Earth.org states that fast fashion is the second largest consumer and polluter of water. Now let's get into the unethical work practices of fast fashion factories. In these factories, these people are being overworked and underpaid in dangerous work environments. And according to Ruben Rosales, who wrote an article with the US Department of Labor, where they did an investigation and found that 80% of contractors were violating the laws of minimum wage and overtime. And they found that one of the contractors was actually only paying $1.58, where the state wage was $15. Here are some red flags to spot if a company is fast fashion. You can check if the price is too good to be true, which it usually is, and this means that they're not paying their factory workers, a living wage. And if the quality is cheap, this means the clothing does not have a long shelf life and will end up in the landfill just as if it would have stayed in the store. And why is there little to no disclosure? Fast fashion stores do not want to disclose how they produce their clothing. And these are some of the most popular fast fashion brands. This is a list curated by Olivia Lay from Earth.org and myself. We have brands like Fashion Nova, Forever 21, and American Eagle. And there's many ways that you can avoid buying fast fashion. You can start with buying sustainably. Sustainable fashion aims to reduce its impact on the environment. They do this by reusing plastics, using organic cotton, and just overall using less harmful materials for the environment, and they pay their workers a living wage. Here's a list of sustainable brands curated by Mickey Wong from Earth.org and myself. We have brands like Plant-Faced, Wholesome Culture, and Girlfriend Collective. And I understand that sustainable fashion may seem like a great alternative, but many times it comes with a very, very high price tag. But here's another option that you can look for, which is thrifting. Thrifting is an economic alternative to purchasing fast fashion. We have places like Goodwill, Salvation Army, and we also have online thrifting like ThredUp, Poshmark, and Mercari. And if you choose not to thrift and you want to save money completely, you can upcycle your clothing. Upcycling clothing is a practice where you repurpose your clothes. You can turn your clothes into rags, clothes into a mop. You can turn a t-shirt into a skirt into a t-shirt, pants into a skirt. There's many ways to upcycle your clothing. Now that I've listed many ways that you can avoid buying from fast fashion, I would really like to reiterate just how harmful fast fashion is to the environment. As you can see right here, it's 4% of the world's total carbon emissions each year. It's the second most polluting industry in the world after oil. It takes 2,000 gallons of water just to make one pair of jeans. And 87% of materials used to make clothing end up in landfill. That's 1 truckload per second. With all this in mind, I would like people to think about upcycling, thrifting, and buying sustainably. And I would like to end this with a quote from Andrew Morgan, the filmmaker of The True Cost, which is a film about the unsustainable and unethical practices of fashion. What if we started by slowing down and not consuming so much stuff just because it's there and cheap and available? It's amazing how that process makes sense financially. It makes sense ethically. It makes sense environmentally. I want to say thank you to my audience of Yayo, Ibeth, and Rosa. Thank you.